Hey, how are you? It's Tim Shurr here, president of Shurr Success Seminars, and today we're going to talk about how to motivate yourself, how to create the motivation mindset. I've been studying motivation for the last 25 years, and I've got some pretty powerful lessons that I want to share with you so that you know how to create incredible focus, incredible drive. You know how to feel motivated and excited, and you're able to turn it on at will so that you have a lifetime of motivation. In fact, most of my clients have come to me over the years because they had a hard time getting motivated or they had a hard time staying motivated. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and we're going to cover them as we go through the next few lessons. So I put together 7 different lessons, 7 different strategies for how to motivate yourself, and I'm just going to keep sharing them with you. So this is your very first one. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So let's have a good time, all right? So when it comes to motivation, I'm going to teach you the strategy that I learned that comes from neurolinguistic programming. And NLP is a field of science that really helps us understand how we create our inner reality, our subjective reality. It helps us to map out what's going on in our mind, in our unconscious mind, because we have unconscious processes that cause us to think, feel, and behave in the way that we do. You never feel anything without having a thought come to mind first as far as an emotion. I mean, if someone punches you in the arm, you're going to feel that and then probably have a thought, okay? But most of the time, our feelings come from what we say to ourselves. And a lot of times we're not mindful of what we're saying to ourselves, or we're not paying attention to it, so we don't even know it. Or the thought happens so quickly that all we're doing is noticing how we feel and not paying attention to the thought that created it. So for example, if you say, oh, he drives me crazy, or oh, she makes me so frustrated, that's not accurate. Whatever they did, whatever they said, or how they came across to you, you took that information in through your data processor, through your mind, through your 5 senses, and then you switched it through your beliefs, through your filters. And your filters are your beliefs, your attitudes, your life experiences, all your social norms, all these scripts that we have in our mind. So you take this information that's neutral, and then you put it into your filters, and then you come up with an idea, a belief, and a feeling that ends up creating a response from you. Your thoughts and your feelings are always influencing the way that you feel. So if you want to feel motivated, there's many ways of going about that. You can change the beliefs, you can change what you're saying to yourself, you can change how you feel inside. There's a lot of ways of doing it. So I'm going to teach you a combination for creating the right emotional recipes that are going to help you to feel focused, motivated, confident, and ready for action. So think of all your emotions as having recipes. There's something that you do with your body. There's something that you focus on or picture in your mind. There's something that you say to yourself out loud or in your own head. And the way that you say it, the speed, the tone, the volume, that influences the way that you feel. And think of them as recipes, right? So what you focus on, what you say to yourself, and how you hold your body creates how you feel inside. So I learned this from NLP and then from working with people who had all kinds of challenges. So if you have anxiety, I learned that you have to speed up inside. People who get anxious, they start to speed up. They start to hold their breath, or they start moving a little bit faster, and their heart starts beating faster, and then they start having these scary thoughts inside. And if you keep escalating that, it can turn into a full panic attack. I also found that people that were depressed looked like they were a balloon that had let all the air out. So when you're depressed, all of a sudden everything is in slow motion, and you're staring down, and your body language drops, and you're in your head focusing on doom and gloom, and you're telling yourself that you have too much certainty. In your mind, you believe that nothing's going to change for you, nothing's going to get better, and worse, there's nothing you can do about it, which causes the helpless, hopeless feelings inside. So I learned that by changing the recipe, you change the way you feel. Just like if you're making chocolate chip cookies, if you change the recipe, if instead of chocolate chips you put in broccoli, then you're going to get a whole different result when the cookies come out, right? You're going to end up with broccoli cookies, which, not so much. So we can alter the recipes. So say if you're constantly getting stressed, you're constantly getting overwhelmed, we could change the recipe and it'll change that feeling. If you want to feel more confident, you discover what your confidence strategy is, and then we can do that more on purpose. So it's almost like discovering what buttons to push inside of you. It really is like that. So today we're focusing on motivation. So I'm going to show you how to create that recipe that gets you motivated. And I'm going to do it in a couple of ways. So one, I want you to think about a time when you were motivated. Think about the last time you felt motivated, and it could be motivated to do anything. It might have been motivated to go eat cheesecake or go to a movie or call up a friend or watch a video. Most of the time, those are the things that get people excited because we associate pleasure to those goals. Remember, the only reason why you procrastinate is because you associate pain or discomfort to the goal, right? When you associate pleasure, when you associate comfort to your goal, you're going to want to follow through on it, right? So let's think about the last time you felt motivated. What was it? What was going on? What's something that you like to do? So let's just assume, since I can't read your thoughts yet, okay, let's assume that you say, I love going to the movies, all right? I'm picking that one because that's what I like. So when I think about going to the movies, I imagine in my mind this big bright light. I'm walking into the movie theater, I smell the popcorn, I see the movie posters, there's a lot of energy, a lot of stimulation, which is great for my brain because, my brain goes all over the place. It's like squirrel, right? And so when I see all the lights and the sounds and the smells, and I know I'm going to go in and enter a new world, and it's going to be exciting, and there's variety, and I don't know what's going to happen. It meets that need for adventure that I have inside, and I get really pumped about it, right? In my mind, I keep telling myself this is going to be awesome, right? I keep imagining something really positive is going to happen. And then my body feels energetic. You'll notice when I'm talking about it, I move more, okay? Now, if I had to go do my taxes, okay, you're going to see my body drops, my head kind of drops, my eyes kind of drop, because when you look down, that's when you access feelings. You can always tell if somebody's feeling a feeling because their eyes drop, right? They start looking down at the floor. When they look at the floor, they're usually talking to themselves and accessing a feeling. They're noticing how they feel inside. And so I start thinking about taxes, and I think about all the numbers I have to crunch and all the receipts I got to go through and all the things. So I create this image of me being alone in a pile of stuff and having to crunch numbers. And in my mind, I'm going, oh my God, this is so much. It's messy. I don't like it, right? I'd rather be hanging out with people at the movies. And so you'll see my recipe changes. Instead of picturing the excitement of the movie theater, and instead of getting my body all moving and energized, I'm looking down. And I'm focusing on being by myself, and I'm focusing on feeling stressed, and I'm focusing on having to do something that I don't want to do. And the only reason I don't want to do it is because I'm telling myself I don't want to do it. If it was neutral and I switched the recipe, I could change it around. I could say, you know what? I'm going to go check out my taxes because I had a friend that's a multi-millionaire, and he said that you should love paying your taxes because that means you're making money, right? He says, pay those big checks and taxes because that means you're bringing it in. So that's good. Taxes are good, right? So I imagine getting everything done and that feeling of having everything in order and clean and organized, and my desk looks clean and healthy, right? So now I'm changing the images in my mind. When I think about doing taxes, all of a sudden I'm moving my body around a little bit more when I think about getting it done. I'm not thinking about what I have to do, I'm thinking about it being done. And that's another trick when you keep yourself motivated. Don't think about what you have to do and all the steps. Think about the outcome that you want, and when it's done, how great you feel. Because that is going to juice you up. That's going to give you that enthusiasm. So you'll notice I can get fired up and motivated about doing my taxes, which is awesome, right? Just by changing the recipe that I'm using when I think about taxes. So think about where you're naturally feeling motivated, and then how do you hold your body when you feel motivated? Now you might need to find a mirror for this, because most of the time we're not aware of what we look like because you can't see the label when you're in the bottle. You can't be objective with yourself because you can't bounce outside and see yourself. So find a mirror and then say, all right, now be motivated. And what do you look like when you're motivated? And I see people, maybe they drop their hands down, right? Their hands are at their side, or their hands are higher and they're kind of moving around a little bit more. You'll see them looking up or looking to the side because they're imagining things. They're remembering the sounds that they heard, right? They'll look down and they'll feel excited about things that had happened. Some people get real bouncy. Some people stay the same, but they get bouncy on the inside. So if you're more of a kinesthetic person, you're going to just feel it, more of that kind of bubbly feeling coming up on the inside. So they'll have a change color in their face. They'll start smiling a little bit more, right? So whether you're bouncy and motivated or you're more just like, okay, whatever response you come up with, just pay attention to what is it that made you feel motivated. Zoom in on it. What are you picturing when you're motivated? The last time you were motivated, what was the image you were creating in your mind? Was it big? Was it in color? Was there sound? Right? And what are you saying to yourself? What are you actually saying to yourself? Now, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause this video once it's recorded, and pause this video and listen to it, and you can always pause it and go, all right, what am I saying to myself when I'm feeling motivated? And how am I saying it to myself? Am I talking really fast? Or am I talking really slow? Or am I talking loud? Or am I getting softer? Right? How are you saying it to yourself? What words are you using to describe it? This is going to be great. It's going to be so relaxing. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be energizing. What words are you saying? And then, how are you holding your body? So check yourself out in the mirror. How are you holding your body? That is going to give you the recipe. Okay? So when I think about going to the movies, I get bigger, I get more moving, I create more energy, I start to imagine a positive outcome that I want, and I tell myself things that are encouraging. Or sometimes when we feel really motivated, we're not saying anything at all. We just kind of get in the zone. And I've noticed that people do that as well, especially my athletes. They will get real quiet because they've already trained themselves. And so when they're motivated, they just get quiet. Or what they tell themselves is, I got this. Or pick up speed. And then they pick up speed and then they get into that power and then they boom. I was just working with a champion gymnast, and that's what she said. She said, my mind got quiet, and then I know that to get powerful, I have to pick up speed. So I just think, go. And she's not thinking of anything. So when you get in the zone, sometimes you're just quiet. When you're chattering a lot, that's usually when you're stressed. So keep that in mind. I find that when we get stressed out, it's because we're talking a lot to ourselves, and the things that we're saying are kind of scary, right? So if you play scary movies in your mind, don't be surprised if you feel scared. If I went to the movies and I saw a horror picture and I come out a little freaked out, that should not be surprising, okay? So be careful of the movies that you play in the theater of your mind. All right, so back to motivation. Hopefully you've identified how you hold your body when you're feeling motivated. What are you focusing on? What are you saying to yourself? Write this stuff down, because then you'll have it in front of you. You're creating your recipe for developing the motivation mindset. Now, I want you to shift for a second, okay? So, take a breath in, shake it out, move around, do a dance, hey, okay, good. Now, it's called a pattern interrupt. We're shifting states. We're going into a different strategy. So now I want you to think about something where you procrastinate. Think about a situation where you're procrastinating, where you're putting things off, where you are pushing away instead of charging forward. Okay, think about a situation where you're procrastinating, and notice when you start thinking about it, get it in your mind. I'll give you a second. What is it that you're procrastinating on? What's keeping you stuck? Or what's when you start to feel stressed, what happens inside? Okay, now, this is where you find the mirror. And you look at yourself and you notice how your body has changed, because your body language has to change for you to feel what you're feeling right now. For you to feel stressed or procrastinate, you have to change the way your body feels. It's natural. It's how it happens. It might be a subtle shift. You might suddenly grab your hands. You might suddenly put your hands in your pocket. You might suddenly make fists. You might suddenly kind of grab yourself, which is like a comforting thing actually. Right? But just notice what you might be doing. Suddenly you're chewing the side of your mouth, right? Suddenly your eyebrows are going down like you're all concerned. Suddenly you're kind of coming in. When we get stressed and where we're trying to protect ourselves, we get smaller. So you might be feeling like you're protecting yourself. You're looking down at the ground now, okay? So what is it that's happening? Are you breathing through your mouth? Are you breathing short and shallow? Are you holding your breath? Notice what your body is doing. Then notice what you're doing in your head. What are you picturing in your mind? What are you imagining? Some people see clear pictures, other people get little glimpses, right? Whatever is happening for you, some people talk themselves through it. But just notice what you might be imagining in your mind when you're procrastinating. And of course, what you're saying to yourself. So notice what you're saying to yourself. So for example, if you're procrastinating on exercise, if you're trying to get healthy, then you might say to yourself, this is going to suck, I'm not going to feel good, I don't feel like doing this, I don't have enough time, I don't want to get sweaty, then I'm going to have to take a shower, and then, I just don't feel good today, I'm tired, right? And then, of course, as we're telling ourselves that story, the air's going out of our balloon. We start to become more limp, we start to feel defeated, and then, of course, we're picturing ourselves in pain, or our knees hurting, or our back hurting, or not fitting in our clothes, and why even bother? It's not going to happen anyway. I'm going to go exercise and just make myself more tired, and I'm still going to be fat, right? The things that we say to ourselves that are so critical and mean that we say in our own mind. Once you start to notice that, then you're like, okay, well, now I know why I'm not feeling motivated. Okay, that wouldn't make anybody feel motivated. It's not just you. Anybody that would use that recipe is going to feel down. If I talk that way about going to the movies, now I don't even want to do that. It might mess it up. But I'm going to do it for you because I care about you. But let's just imagine if I said, you know what, I'm going to go to this movie and it's probably not going to be any good. It was only 3 stars anyway, and I'm going to take 2 hours out of there where I should be making another video or writing that next chapter of my book, and then I'm never going to get where I want to be if I'm wasting my time watching movies, and there's probably going to be a line, and I shouldn't be eating popcorn anyway. The butter's not good for my cholesterol, and if I start doing that, I'm going to think, God, I don't want to go to the movies. I ain't got time for that. I need to be doing something else. Oh, crap. Now I'm feeling bummed. Literally, right now, I'm not faking it. I totally feel like bummed out right now. So I'm going to have to get my shift together. So just hold on a moment, okay? Because what I got to do is start moving around again and start thinking about the movies are fun, right? And think about doing these things. So not only can I go to the movies, but I can make movies. We're making one together right now. Isn't that awesome? You're the hero of this movie. This is great. So if you didn't catch that one where I took you on the hero's journey in the last video, definitely check that out, because it's awesome. Okay, so now I got to get myself back into energized and motivated again. But did you see what happened in my body? I just started losing it thinking about all that stuff, and I started getting that sinking feeling and ugh, right? So in order to change the feeling, I had to change the recipe. And what I did was I started moving my body first. It's like I'm churning up energy. I'm grabbing energy and throwing it like an old Tai Chi move that I used to know, right? When you're stroking the horse's mane, for any of you that know Tai Chi, right? So I started creating that Chi energy, that life force energy, and start moving it through me. As I start bouncing and moving around, then I lift my head up and I started looking up instead of down, and I started focusing on the images that I wanted. And what got me engaged was thinking about creating value. So not just going to the movies, but making this movie with you makes me feel good, because I really believe that the more value you bring, the more valuable life becomes, right? The more fun we have together. So for me, I got motivated by knowing what my reason is, my why. And we'll talk about that in another lesson. But knowing what drives you and what really makes you feel excited and passionate. And so, anyway, so I want you to pay attention now to what's going on inside of your body when you're procrastinating. What you're focusing on, what you're saying to yourself, how you're holding your body, and then it should make you feel kind of down. Right? And so we don't want to stay there, so let's begin to shift it. Let's get your shift together now. Okay, so now I want you to go ahead and we're going to do that little happy dance again. Okay, so move around, okay, whatever you got to do. I was like washing the energy off of me, so maybe you got to take an energy shower, just, okay, take some deep breaths, in through your nose, always through your nose, not that mouth breathing stuff, in through your nose. That's what triggers your relaxation response. That'll count to 10 and take 10 deep breaths through your mouth. That just makes people hyperventilate. Okay, so in through your nose, down to your belly. Let it go. I'm auditory, so I'm always making the sounds. Okay, so all right, now let's go ahead and I want you to think about that situation where you have been procrastinating, but now I want you to apply your motivation strategy. Okay? So think about what it is where you want to be motivated. Yell it out. Yell it out to me right now. I'm listening, okay? Yell it out. Where do you want to be motivated? I want to exercise. I want to get the garage clean. I'm going to get this book done. I'm going to call these people. I'm going to motivate my team. Whatever it is that you want, okay? I want you to just focus on that idea of where you want to feel motivated in your life. Once you're feeling, or once you know where you want to feel motivated, then start to hold your body the way you did when you were motivated. What's it look like? Okay? Do you stand taller? Is your chin up? Are your shoulders back? Are you getting bigger? Okay? If you're not sure, just get bigger. Okay? Put your arms up in the air, a little power posing, right? Like you just won the gold medal in Rio, or yay, or wherever. Or you can stand with your hands on your hips, right? Like Superman or Wonder Woman, cha-ching, cha-ching, okay? So hold your body stronger with more energy, even if you're sitting down. And if you are sitting down, get up. Get off your butt and get up and stand up here with me, okay? How motivated can you really get sitting on your butt? So unless you're doing a hypnosis session, which I can really crank up the motivation, but we're not doing that right now. So if you're sitting, get up, okay? Just getting up will create more energy inside. And then hold your body in that way. Then, when you feel naturally motivated, what are you picturing? Focus on the outcome that you want. Make it big and bright and colorful and close so it's pleasurable and it feels exciting. It makes you want to step to it. It makes you want to go closer to it, right? So make it compelling. We call that creating a compelling future. Imagine what it is that you want as though you already have it, or how good you're going to feel. So if it was fitness, or it was picking up the phone and calling somebody, right? Imagine how good you feel once you did it. And imagine that it went well. Imagine you got the sale, you locked it in. Imagine that you got your fitness in and you feel great and you have energy, or you're standing on a scale. So I want you to imagine turning on that energy. I want you to imagine having that feeling, that excitement, that energy of picturing the outcome that you desire as though it's already here. So just imagine that it's already here. It's here now, okay? And so then what are you saying to yourself? What could you say to yourself that would be encouraging? If you don't know, think, what would you tell your friend? What would you tell your best friend or a child if they were struggling? Would you tell them, well, it's never going to work out anyway, loser? I hope not, right? Oh my gosh, that'd be terrible. Instead, you probably have 10 million different things that you could say to make them feel better. Go on, you can do this, believe in yourself. It's funny how sometimes we can be nicer and more motivating to other people than we can to ourselves. So that's how you get the idea of what to say to yourself. So you think, what would you say to them? And then just say it to yourself. So tell yourself, I can do this, I got this, I'm ready. Or use the 3 most powerful words I've ever heard for motivation. Do it now, okay? Do it now, do it now, do it now. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Say it with me. Ready? Here we go. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Good. Say it one more time. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Good. Now don't just say it with your mouth, say it with your body. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Are you doing it? You better be doing it. All right? So let's do it. Here we go. One more time. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Yeah, high five. Excellent. All right. So now we're creating some energy. So now when you think about that situation, imagine that it's the way you want it to be. So I imagine my tax is done and I'm going to the movies. We did this video, I created value, right? So I imagine the outcomes that I wanted. Now you imagine the outcome that you want, that it's working for you and it makes you feel good. And then you notice the recipe. Well, I held my body this way, I focused on this, I imagined this, I talked to myself in this way, and you know what? I feel pretty good. I think I got this now. And now you can start to use this because you have a replicatable strategy. It's duplicatable. You can repeat it on purpose with intention over and over and over again. Yes, so we want to make sure that we are recognizing what our strategies are so that we can use them on purpose with intention so that you get better results and better quality lives, right? So it just feels better to feel motivated, to feel passionate about something, to have that drive, to be excited about things. Remember, you might not always have control over the things you got to do. Sometimes we got to do stuff we don't feel like doing, but you get to decide how you're going to feel when you're doing it. You get to decide if you can have fun, if you can bring fun to this. You got to do the dishes. Everybody's got to do the dishes. You got to do laundry. Everybody's got to do laundry. Well, you know what? How can you make it fun? What could you do to make it fun? When you start asking questions like that, then that unlocks a whole new level of potential. And that, my friend, is what we're going to talk about in lesson number 2. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions, leave comments below. Please share this, like this, love this, and then tune in tomorrow for lesson number 2. Thanks so much, and I hope that you have a motivated Shurr Success Day. Talk to you soon.